This is the programme that shows you the side of police chase videos they didn't want you to see. Bungled arrests, kamikaze crooks and cop-based carnage of all kinds. Welcome to Cops Uncut, the real car crash TV.
Coming up on Cops Uncut. This suspect jumpstarts some jet skis to go surfing USA. This screaming banshee gives the cops a piece of her mind. And this over-eager officer jumps the gun.
Taking off again.
In Keego Harbor, Michigan, cops have been told to keep their eyes peeled for some missing jet skis when they see this not-so-cleverly concealed pair on a trailer hurtling down the road. When stealing something as large and instantly recognisable as this, you'd think a bit of camouflage, or even better, a van, would be your best bet for a clean getaway. But this thief has an ingenious plan, thinking that if he goes fast enough, he can magically disappear in a cloud of dust. "10 miles down the road and the chase has moved into the next county. But this surfing safari has taken its toll and one of the jet skis is starting to wobble. Our intrepid cop overtakes in an effort to try and force the truck off the road. After some nifty moves, he succeeds in liberating one of the jet skis. Although how pleased its owner will be when he finds out what sort of condition it's in is another matter. The second jet ski is also in imminent danger of taking a dive, and there's another cop car breathing down his neck. But this slippery customer still wants to make it to the beach. Next in line are the Waterford police, who try a bit of surf and turf by ramming him into the central reservation. But they only succeed in catapulting the other jet ski onto the opposite carriageway. With his stolen goods all washed up, you might think this suspect would be ready to surrender, but the chase continues along the freeway. The cops in Royal Oak are lying in wait around the next bend. They've stopped the traffic and, having forced their man down the hard shoulder, throw down some Stopsticks. The rear two tyres of the suspect's truck are blown, and this time he loses the trailer, along with his last remaining scrap of dignity. He was finally picked up just down the road, so I guess that's what you'd call a wipeout. This water sports fanatic thought it would be plain sailing, but he hadn't reckoned on the relentlessness of 6 different police departments who, in a rare example of cooperation, had this surfer dude all at sea. Still to come in part 1. This topsy-turvy crim forgets to belt up his trousers. And the Lawnmower man holds an impromptu car boot sale.
It's my lawnmower. How do you know?
Taking off again.
Turn around. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers.
It's early morning in Georgetown, Texas, where the cops have stopped a couple for drink driving.
Turn around. Turn around.
But the driver seems edgier than a tightrope walker in a force 10 gale.
You're being placed under arrest for driving while intoxicated.
In the vain hope that the cops will ignore his passenger, the man does all he can to be a model prisoner.
Can I ask you just to call my sister and tell me out? Okay, what? Can I ask you to call my sister? What's your sister's name? Maria Subiaco. I'll give her that information. Give it to me.
It's lucky for him that he's got his sister to turn to in his hour of need, because his girlfriend is currently undergoing a terrifying transformation.
Go ahead, come back here with me.
One cop makes the fatal mistake of approaching the car. Only to be confronted with the terrifying presence that is psycho girlfriend.
Get in the car. Get in the car. Get in the car.
Believe me, this is one woman you don't want to cross when she's angry, and it takes 3 officers to restrain her.
Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
I'm not gonna have a job. I'm not gonna have a job. I'm gonna sue your asses. You fucking put me in that fucking hellhole. I'm gonna sue your asses.
Ma'am,
I have a good job.
back there.
I have a good job.
Quit resisting.
She must have a really good job and a very understanding boss. She even claims to be famous.
You don't know who I am. I'm so sorry for you.
Not half as sorry as we feel for your boyfriend. As one cop goes to fetch a gag and some earplugs, the other 2 try to ignore her, in the vain hope that she'll just go away.
What's the matter with her? How much she had to drink? More than you? Okay.
More than George Best and Oliver Reed put together, I should imagine. No wonder her boyfriend is being so cooperative. After an evening with this bunny boiler, he just wants a night in the cells to get some peace. Struggling to the very last, she gives the cops something to remember her by. In the morning, however, this girlfriend from hell will have one hell of a hangover. Today we're going to learn that once in a while it pays to swat up on your green cross code. Just because you're a cop, you should never assume that other road users can see you, and even when your siren is blaring and your lights are flashing, always remember to take extra care when jumping a red light. So let's try a little revision, shall we? Green means go, amber means slow down, and red means stop.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Class dismissed. It must have been a heavy night as the police trail a car that's been handled with all the finesse of a hippo on roller skates. Seeing the cops on their tail, the driver and his passengers take some time to discuss the situation before speeding off like a bat out of hell. And just when the phrase accident waiting to happen is taking shape in their minds, the police see the car go for a tumble up ahead.
Roll over.
Despite still having a strong taste of tarmac in his mouth, one of the passengers has decided that he's not going to stick around for the welcoming committee.
All right, he's gonna bounce.
And he's closely followed by his pal in the back seat. Having been deserted by his partners in crime, the driver is discovering that there really isn't any honour among thieves. He's battered and broken. He's been caught red-handed and he's about to be arrested by one badass cop. I'm sure he'd be happy to oblige if his world hadn't been turned upside down.
You better get your fucking hands right out!
But this cop isn't concerned with such trivial matters as the ability to move in a confined space. So, after making sure there are no guns or limbs missing, the suspect is hauled out of the car and the cops make sure his capture is as embarrassing as possible. As he's led away, it must be tough to decide which is more humiliating: getting arrested and thrown in jail, or being caught on film with his trousers round his ankles. Following a high-speed chase, this car ended up in the sort of rollover you don't get in the National Lottery. And once his accomplices had left him in the lurch, the driver was caught, quite literally, with his pants down.
Taking off again.
Partner, is this your car? I think you got a gas leak or something.
Having pulled over a van for a routine stop, this cop thinks he can smell gasoline.
What do you got in the trunk?
But now he's beginning to smell a rat.
Yeah, I've got a couple of lawnmowers. You gardener? I'll stand back up here on the sidewalk for a minute.
Little does he know that he's just the right man for the job.
That's kind of interesting. What's that? Get his name tag? Let's check this out. Smith. Oh, it's my lawnmower. How do you know? Because I bought it. Turn around. Turn around. You're under arrest. What? Stealing my lawnmower.
And Officer Smith can now read him his rights, his consumer's rights.
You got a receipt for it? I have a receipt for it.
Well, at least he'll be able to keep the prison grounds tidy. This wannabe Lewis Hamilton is flying down the road as if it was the home straight at Silverstone. The only trouble is he's in a pickup, not a racing car, so the cops aren't having too much trouble staying on his tail. And in a move that makes driving school look like the Italian job, he tries to shake them off with this feeble attempt at a U-turn. It's pretty obvious that this guy isn't the sharpest tool in the box, but what he lacks in brain power, he makes up for in stamina. There can't be much happening at the station today because the cops are content to sit back, relax, and wait until he runs out of gas. But after a few miles of bobbing and weaving, his driving style is about to go from Formula One to funfair dodgems. Although this less conventional version of a U-turn definitely won't win him a cuddly toy. As the officer tries to look busy by waving his gun in the air, what he completely fails to notice is that the suspect is lying on the road behind him, looking rather unwell. And when he finally realizes what's happened, the cop isn't so much concerned for the guy's welfare as with giving him a stern ticking off.
You driving?
Yes, I'm hurt.
What the fuck you running for?
I'm scared, man. I'm alcoholic. I'm scared, brother.
That's silly.
I know it is, man.
I mean, a trip to jail over people getting hurt.
Talk about kicking someone when they're down.
You're next. Sit still. We got somebody.
Having flown through the driver's window, this suspect hardly needed a gun to his head to keep him under control. In fact, a neck brace and a chest tube turned out to be much more appropriate. This is what happened when one man went for a spin and forgot to belt up. Once he'd trashed his truck, this dangerous drunk didn't know which AA to call first.
I'm scared, man. I'm alcoholic.
Taking off again.
Still to come in part 2. These heroic cops get their fingers burned, and this car full of Mexicans gets ditched.
Taking off again.
The owner of this Chevy left the keys in the ignition when he went to get a newspaper, and strangely enough, it wasn't there when he came back. So now it's been reported stolen. The police in Fort Worth, Texas are trying to return it to its rightful owner. The thief is one Graciela Miller, who seems to enjoy having so many men in uniform breathing down her neck, although these cops are probably more interested in giving her a bunch of fives than a bunch of flowers. With all of this attention, Miss Miller doesn't know whether she's coming or going, and pretty soon she decides that it's time for a dance. The only thing she's failed to take into account is that you should always get out of your car before taking to the floor. And when her partner comes to lead her away, he isn't going to hold the door open. This senora in a Chevy thought she had a hot date lined up, but she ended up getting herself all in a spin. They say that cats have 9 lives, and it just so happens that occasionally cops do as well. The winner of today's award for a lucky escape goes to Ohio trooper Nathaniel Towns, who's driven his patrol car to the scene of a freeway fender bender. Routine work for a traffic cop, you might think. Not quite. Towns remained blissfully unaware of the danger right up until the moment of impact, but the woman he was questioning had a grandstand view. So there are now not 1 but 2 fresh dents in her pickup, and as a consequence she seems to be in need of a little TLC.
You all right, AJ?
Despite a few frayed nerves, Trooper Towns lived to see 2007. His patrol car, however, went to that great scrapyard in the sky. The car that you can just about see here came off the road in the middle of the night, and fortunately these cops were on the scene straight away because the driver is still trapped inside. Owning a car that's built to withstand a high-speed impact may have come in handy earlier on.
Are you all right here? Yeah. Okay.
But it's now proving about as easy to break into as Fort Knox.
What's wrong? God dang it. Stop, we gotta use the fire extinguisher.
One of the officers tries to douse the flames before realizing that brute force might be more appropriate.
Cover your eyes! Cover your eyes!
Although this driver survived the accident, he might not survive the aftermath.
Holy shit!
As the fire spreads, time appears to be running out.
Hey, I can't see nothing, man.
Just as things are getting distinctly hot under the collar, the cops brace themselves for one final effort. Everyone is short of breath, but at last there's enough oxygen to go round.
Are you okay? You okay?
The cops had better watch out though, because if they stand this close to the fire, all three of them could end up becoming flame grilled. It's not going to be much fun waiting for the fire brigade to arrive, but at least there's no danger of freezing to death in the cold night air. This car certainly was built to last, but a manufacturer's guarantee isn't much use if you happen to have been trapped inside it.
Taking off again.
As Phil Collins once sang, it's no fun being an illegal alien. You're living a life of grinding poverty. Everyone keeps banging on about the American dream, and you decide to cross the border in the glove box of a pickup. So pity the poor asylum seekers who handed their life savings over to this knucklehead. With a whole posse of passengers hidden in the back, he's managed to arouse the suspicions of the Border Patrol. And it only takes a few seconds to decide which side his burrito is buttered. Having failed to lose the cops by going off-road, he's willing to ditch his charges like a hot tortilla, straight into a ditch, in fact. These aspiring Americans may have emerged from their hiding place intact, but they never did make it to the promised land. So what have we learnt today on Cops Uncut? Make sure you're in the water before you unhitch your jet ski. Don't go colourblind when you're heading for the lights. And remember, if you go out on the sauce, you could end up on a drip.
I'm scared, man. I'm alcoholic.
Be careful out there.